Most people don't know this, but Puerto Rico is actually an archipelago of several islands. The three main islands in the archipelago are, of course, Puerto Rico, then Culebra, which is tiny, by comparison to the island that I'm on right now, which is Vieques. Vieques was used as a naval gunnery range, and so big chunks of the island have warning signs telling you not to go driving, don't hike, don't go back here, you might step on an unexploded shell and get blown into your constituent molecules. But by and large, the island is freakishly nice. I'll give you my full impression and tell you all the cool things you can do here in case you ever find yourself in the Caribbean looking for something to do. So the unexpected thing that we found here in Vieques is that the roads are actually incredibly well kept. I mean, by and large, Puerto Rican roads, partly because of government corruption, but also partly because they're just busy, right? There is a lot of traffic in and around San Juan. San Juan is a major city. It's about 500,000 people plus. The surrounding area makes it even bigger. Most of the island's population in Puerto Rico centers around that and one other big city, Ponce, in the south. And you see, it's a hilarious thing. It should almost have a name for it by itself. Bumpers, big bumpers from the front of cars. They pop off. When you hit a pothole that's big enough, your whole bumper comes off, and then they just leave it on the side of the road. And you find these everywhere, almost like roadkill. They're almost as plentiful as dead iguanas on the island of Puerto Rico. But here in Vieques, it's a big, long island. If you look on the map, you can see, right, it's a very long, longitudinal island, and there's not a lot of roads, but the roads that they have are actually very well kept, which is shocking. In Culebra, it's the exact opposite. I'll tell you a story in a second. We had a Jeep over in Culebra last year when we visited, and it's very nice, but it's also just a dump, quite honestly, and it's not well kept. It's far more run down. Why that would be, why Vieques is so well kept, I have no idea. I assume that the military, because of their presence here for a number of years, I think post-World War II, more or less, probably had a big impact, and government largesse and taxpayer money kept this place nice. There's no other reason for it. Now, 2/3 of Vieques is basically uninhabited nature preserve. The eastern 2/3 of the island is all wilderness. It's actually a wilderness preserve. Crazily enough, on the island, there's wild horses. So you have to watch out. I was bouncing down a gravel road with my son next to me and not really paying attention and sort of half forgetting that there's horses that just pop out of the forest. They eat and sort of wander wherever they want. Obviously, if you run into a horse with a car, right, it will definitely ruin your day. And so we barely missed him. Thank God he ran with us and not in front of us, or it would have been really, really unfortunate.
The truth is, giving yourself an international lifestyle just isn't that tough, and it makes more sense now than ever before. International diversification is freedom insurance. If you want to know how I've done it for my family and how you can do it for yours for a lot less than you think, please subscribe, like, comment, and share with folks you care about.
You need a Jeep here. The company that rents the Jeeps does a very, very poor quality maintenance on them. So every light on the dashboard is on. I'm talking the engine light, the brake light, the anti-lock skid light, the oil light, like everything is on. Like nobody's taking care of these vehicles at all, which is very nerve-wracking. We went 4x4 off-roading this morning into a really remote part. I can show you on a map. It's on the westernmost part. Again, it's very remote. There's bunkers up there where the Navy used to, I assume, hide and store ammunition, or who knows what they had in there. There's huge like warehouses built in the middle of the jungle with one path in and one path out, and even a Jeep in bad conditions, like really a lot of rain and mud, you could have trouble if your car didn't work. We got stuck in the sand. My Jeep didn't have four-wheel drive. It said that it shifted into four-wheel drive. Obviously that wasn't the case. Jeeps don't get stuck in sand with four-wheel drive. And so if you come here, good luck getting a good vehicle. I think probably most of the car rental companies are running on financial fumes and they don't do regular maintenance, clearly. We got another Jeep. Every dash light is on this one, telling you that no maintenance has been done. I stopped and talked to another guy who rented from the same company. Even with his seatbelt fastened, the chime just keeps going off telling him he's got to put his seatbelt on. So that's typical in a place like Puerto Rico. It's just like a poor person's mentality. No offense to these people, but that's how they act, that's how they behave. So you're going to deal with stuff like that. Otherwise, a lot of the businesses, just fantastic. We're going to go out to dinner and find a nice place to eat. There's endless activities. You can go scuba diving, although apparently I missed my chance. They're not going out today or tomorrow, partly from the wind and the conditions, but partly because they don't have enough people, which is strange to me because the island is very busy now. You take the ferry over from the mainland, you leave from Ceiba on the east coast of Puerto Rico. It's about 25 minutes from my house, and it costs $2, right? Even if you're a non-resident, they run it basically at a loss, so it costs like $3 maximum ticket price, even if you're not from Puerto Rico, to get over to the outer islands, Vieques and Culebra. And I mean, it's a decent ferry run. Here was about 35-40 minutes. To Culebra, it's like 2 hours to get over there. So they're obviously obviously losing money on that, but the ferries run, they're very well kept, it's very easy to travel. There's lots of people here. We saw huge groups of Japanese and Koreans, just backpackers, like people coming around. The Jeeps are rented out. There's a lot of people on the island. It seems very busy to me. Snorkeling, unbelievable hidden beaches. You can see some of these here. I took my son to. We just bounced around and just looked for them. This is Sun Bay. Various other parts we went to, little anchorages where you can find sailboats that are anchored and derelict boats that have gone on the rocks. And so it's a real, almost like a pirate's delight over here. It's completely uninhabited areas for miles and miles. The most populous thing is probably the iguanas and the horses, and reasonably safe. We haven't seen almost any police. I don't really get a sense that it's a dangerous place at all, but you never know. But Vieques is, I think, a place to get away. If you wanted to hide out in the Caribbean, you could do it here. The family at the house that we're staying in, they've lived here for 38 years. She's from the US, and so they settled here, loved it, got a nice place, probably very cheap at the time. And you know, you can have all the creature comforts. You're close to town, so you have everything you need, from gas to food to restaurants to access to a ferry if you got to get off the island. And so it's super convenient. In its own way, it's super convenient if you want to live sort of at the end of the road in the middle of a Caribbean island. Now, obviously, this place must get pummeled when hurricanes come through. It's just got to be awful. But everybody here, right, if you have a certain level of wealth, you can build your house with hurricane windows and just shut everything down to protect it. And then you just ride out the rough weather and wait for the roads to clear. And I'm sure there's plenty of community efforts to make that happen too. That's how it is in Puerto Rico. So Vieques to me is a good spot. It's wonderful to visit. I wouldn't want to live here. I feel like we're remote enough on the Puerto Rican mainland, 25 minutes from the main airport, which we need. But here, it's just magnificent. I think if you're a nature lover and you dig the beach and you want to really have that tropical experience in a really sort of well-kept, I mean, overall, right? It works. You can get around. You can get vehicles. It's not like really poor Caribbean islands. Vieques is probably, 3 stars out of 5 when it comes to wealth and convenience as far as the Caribbean is concerned. As far as the regular world is concerned, it's probably still, 1.5 stars. But nonetheless, right, for a Caribbean experience, you almost can't do better than Vieques, and even Culebra last year when I did that review kind of makes the cut in terms of at least doing something really off the beaten track. So I'll probably go shooting tomorrow. They have a big gun range with a skeet range and rifle and pistol. Maybe I'll shoot clay pigeons or something just to do some kind of activity here. And then we'll grab dinner and I'll probably wrap up with a review of those as well. Okay, thanks. And if you're interested in more information on how you can live an exciting, adventurous, international lifestyle, I put together a community I call the X-Plan community. There's a whole industry surrounding what people call Plan B, where the idea is that you're supposed to take a cookie cutter off-the-shelf solution to internationalize your life. I don't like this term and I don't like the way most people go about this. That's why I created the X-Plan community. The X in the equation is you. The X in the equation is your specific needs for what it is that you need to accomplish, your particular family situation, how you're going to protect your wealth, the best places, the best vehicles in which to do that. And most of all, what I don't like about people who operate in the so-called Plan B industry is the number one thing about it is community. And if you follow other people sort of off the cliff into expat havens in Panama and places like this, then you're going to end up with a bunch of yahoos who are just as clueless and don't really know what the local flavor is and what is going on. A lot of people who do Plan B stuff don't speak the local language, right? To me, that makes no sense. Why would you take advice from somebody who can't speak Spanish or Portuguese, right? It doesn't make sense to me, right, that these people are offering advice. What do they actually know that's going to help you, that's not going to actually put you in a worse position if you end up in a haven with a bunch of people who really don't know their ass from their elbow and are all very insular and stuck together? It doesn't help you in the long run, right? It actually robs you of the exact experience that I try to offer to people, which is this, which is a really down-home, local experience, knowing what's going on and having the ability to navigate in and out of places like a pro, like the way I've done for nearly 25 years now. If that's of interest to you, there's a link below this. Check it out. And if you want to test out and join the X-Plan community, you can do so. I have a $1 trial set up. If you don't like it, that's fine. We'll part as friends. But if you really want a good community going forward of people who really know what's going on in the world and are determined to make the most of it and capitalize on the opportunities that are going to come our way as all the chaos in the world sorts itself out, well, then you need to know about the X-Plan community. Check it out.
Right now, you can join the X-Plan community for just $1. Click below to get all the details. Instead of passively obeying the lunatic decisions by cognitively impaired political hacks, we're building a future where international diversification ensures our freedom and prosperity. You'll get easy access to resources and contacts to help you structure your own international lifestyle, including how you protect your money outside the U.S. banking system, how to quickly get legal documents that allow you and your family to enter a friendly, welcoming, peaceful jurisdiction when trouble hits North America, where to invest in top-tier income-producing real estate, and much, much more. If If you decide you want the convenience of private consulting, we offer that option too, but at a tiny fraction of what other so-called experts are charging. So you don't have to break the bank trying to protect your family and preserve your wealth in the chaos of the 2020s. Click below to get all the details and join the X-Plan community for just $1, and I'll see you on the inside.
And remember, your freedom begins the moment you realize nobody's coming to save you. Thanks.